Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be starting off with making some picadillo for my husband's lunch. So picadillo is the way I know it traditionally is with ground beef and potatoes, tomatoes, onions, and then some people will put chile or not. This is just a simple way that I make it, and that the way my husband and I like it. And if it's not too spicy, my girls will even have it. And we usually make this for burritos, but you can definitely make this for sopes, for tostadas, or whatever you want to do it. But we make these for burritos. So I'm making half of the size that I normally do. I will put down the ingredients. I probably will put the full size that I usually use. I usually use 1 pound of ground beef, but you could definitely use ground turkey, ground chicken, whatever you have on hand or whatever you prefer. I have ground beef. This is just half a pound. Earlier for dinner I made hamburgers, and I knew I wasn't going to use the full 2 pounds that I had, so I just cooked 1.5, and I said, hey, I could definitely make my husband some picadillo. I haven't made it for him in a while, and definitely why not show it in a video. And then I have 2 potatoes that I already peeled and cleaned. I'm going to chop these up, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by cooking these potatoes. I'm going to chop them up. And then I already chopped up my tomato and my onion earlier. So I have 2 tomatoes and half of an onion. Definitely you can add more or less. It's totally up to you. But like I said, I will put down in the description the ingredients. And then I have 1 chile serrano. If you don't like it too spicy, take out the seeds, or you can use jalapeno, or you can skip out and switch this for cilantro, or leave it out, whatever you prefer. And then I'm going to use a couple of garlic cloves. I usually would probably use about 1 or 2 since it's very little bit of ground beef. For 1 pound I would probably use 3 to 4, but since I have a few of these extra and I don't want them going bad, I'm going to use a couple of them. And then for seasonings, totally up to you what you use, but for my ground beef I love the Lawry seasoned salt, some pepper. For the potatoes I'm just going to do a little bit of each, salt and then pepper. And then when I add everything in there, I'm going to add very, very, very little bit of this Knorr Swisa chicken flavor bouillon. Just a little bit to give it that flavor and mix it up. And if I didn't mention this, I'm making this the night before. This is something that you can definitely make ahead and then warm it up the next day if you make lunch or burritos that way. Or even make ahead for a dinner or for whatever reason. So this is just some easy, quick prep. So I'm going to chop this up and I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I chopped my potato. I'm going to do one more anywhere between this size. I like to chop it, but definitely you can chop it whatever size you want. And a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, go ahead. Just keep in mind potatoes do take a little bit longer to cook. So that comes into mind whatever size you want to cook them. I try to cut them pretty close to size, but even then some of them become a little smaller or get flown and thrown out. So yeah, you do however size you would like to. This just works for us. So if you guys are enjoying this video, you know the drill. You know, if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. It really lets YouTube know that you like these kinds of videos. It helps my videos get pushed out, and it just helps my channel to grow and for you guys to grow along with me. Definitely, if you are not subscribed and enjoy watching these kinds of videos, feel free to hit that subscribe button. You know, make sure you have your bell on if you want to get notified each time I upload a video, as well as share this video with your friends and family, or just on your social media, just by clicking that share button so other people can see these kinds of recipes. Okay, so let's go on to the stove now. So I'm starting off with medium to low heat, and I have a little bit of water in there, and then I'm going to use vegetable oil. Go ahead and use whatever oil you prefer, or if you want to use cooking spray. I probably added a little bit too much water than I would like, but definitely like I said, you can use whatever you want. So here it goes in the potatoes. I put a little bit of water just so that it doesn't stick, and also too so it could kind of steam the potatoes. If you want to crisp up the potatoes, you know, you can crisp them up. Got one that didn't cut properly. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna put the lid on these so that they can cook I don't want them like too crunchy, but I don't want them too soft either. So I'm just gonna put the lid on them and cook for about 15 to 20 minutes until fully cooked. Okay, now I have the chile serranos. I noticed one of my garlics went in with the potatoes, so I just took it out. I was like, I only have 3. I had 4. So when I make picadillo, for the most part, I like to cut everything really, really small. But then there's times where I get lazy and I will just, you know, do a rough chop. The tomato, I mean, the onion, I feel like I did okay. The tomato, I know it's a little bit bigger than what I would like, but it's fine. Definitely, if you don't like spiciness at all, like I said, you can do cilantro, but if you don't like spiciness, you don't like cilantro, skip it out. Or even, you know, a bell pepper or whatever veggies you want to throw in there. It's definitely, you know, you make it your own. Work with what you have. Picadillo is made so many different ways. It's very traditional and Mexican cooking. A lot of people do it differently. You know, somebody might watch this video and think, nope, I don't make it like that. And that's totally fine. That's the beauty of cooking, especially if you're cooking at home. You make it however you want to, you know. That's your business. So my potatoes are fully cooked. Some might stick because that sometimes happens. But it's okay because I'm just going to transfer them to another bowl. Because in the same pot, I'm going to end up cooking the tomato next. I am going to add salt and pepper to these potatoes now that they're fully cooked. As you can see, some did stick to the bottom. But it's not a big deal because I'm going to use the same pot to cook. They're nice and soft now. But like I said, there's times where they have crisped up and it's not a big deal. To me, at least. You can definitely cook them however you want. So it's very little bit of potato. Then I'm going to add just a little bit of salt because I definitely had a little bit of salt. And then some pepper. But this is totally up to you. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Now I'm going to use some cooking spray. I normally would just add more vegetable oil, but it's totally fine. Or a separate pan. But it's not going to be a big deal for me. I'm going to throw in the meat now. Try to smash that all up. Now I'm gonna bring up my heat. The reason that I'm doing cooking spray versus oil is just that this ground beef is gonna release some of its fat and it's gonna start to pick up whatever bits and pieces are in the bottom of the picadillo, of the potato, you know, in here I mean. Sorry, this is late night filming and I'm a little sleepy. Okay. So as I'm cooking the ground beef, I'm going to start adding, I'm going to start using my favorite kitchen tool, my garlic press. You don't have to add garlic if you don't want to. But definitely when I'm cooking ground beef, just any meat in general, I like adding garlic. Just really cooking it in there. I'm going to add some more black pepper. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of Lawry seasoned salt. You don't have to, but I want to. Now tomorrow my husband isn't going to work with too many people, so I'm not worried about making too much. But normally when I make more, I use about 1 pound. of ground beef, like I said earlier, and I will definitely be putting that measurement down below. And then sometimes I'll feel really lazy, like, you know, and I will just try to like ground this up as much as I can, and then I'll put the lid on, and then I'll be doing something else. Usually when I leave the lid on, I'll leave it on for 10 minutes and it cooks, and then I'll start chopping up the tomato, the onion, and the chile serrano. But since I already have all that chopped and done, I'm not gonna put the lid on it, but you totally can if you want to. That's totally optional, you know. Sorry, my stove is being a little squeaky. And then just let this fully cook. And then I always taste it for seasonings. If it has too much seasonings, then I go lighter on the other stuff. If it needs a little more, I just adjust. Taste as I go. But if you like to measure and everything, always start with a little bit less, you know. Can always add more, but you can't really take away. You could definitely, if you like tacos, like ground beef tacos, you can probably make them out of picadillo. I've never heard anybody do it, but thinking about that's probably interesting. And then what I've seen people do are, I don't know if you've ever heard of empanadas. Empanadas, I've seen people make them, the savory ones, and they're made with picadillo. They've also made like some cream cheese and jalapeno ones that look so good. I've also heard people with picadillo, they'll add, some people will add peas or corn, you know. My husband definitely never grew up with adding corn, let alone peas, but definitely if that's something you can, y'all do whatever you want. Can just use just a little sprinkle more. Okay. Well, that's good for me. Now, definitely if you want to take out your ground beef and put it in there, you can. But I'm not. I'm just going to throw everything in here. So throwing in the onion. The good thing that when I was making this, I was chopping the onion and the tomato earlier. When I was cooking dinner, so that just made a little prep work easier. And then I'm going in and adding pepper again. I'm gonna add my one chile serrano. And then just a little bit of salt, like a little sprinkle. Because right now I'm gonna throw in the, oh, I was really lazy chopping up these onions and tomatoes. So tomato is going to release a lot of juice. I let this cook for about 10 minutes, the onion, the tomato. Let's see what else I want to put. So this step is totally optional, but I'm going to add a little bit of the Knorr Swisa and very little bit. And I make my husband burritos for lunch. Usually the papa con chorizo and the picadillo are the easy ones that I can make the night before. Not the easy ones, the ones I can make the night before. So as you see here, we got a lot going on. This is already enough to make a lot of burritos, but I'm still going to add the potatoes. Now when I double this and I make this is the first time that I'm making it half the portion. You make a lot of burritos. I think I can easily make anywhere from, when it's the double portion, I think anywhere from 12 to 15. Many years ago, I used to make like 20, 30 burritos just in the morning for his co-workers. He would have the bag and people were just lined up there. Now, like I said, I was being a little lazy with the onion and the tomato. I could have done a better job, but oh well. That's fine. And as you can see, it starts getting a little bit more juicier. I didn't bother draining off the fat off of the ground beef because this one isn't very fatty. It's enough where it won't stick, but it wasn't necessary as you saw. But definitely, if you have a fattier one, go ahead and drain it. Whatever your preference is. Gonna let it so that the onion and the chile and the tomato can continue to cook without having like a bite to it. So a good 10 minutes. So this is what the picadillo looks like. It is so good. I hope you guys give this a try. Make sure to check out the recipe down in the description. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. This is me filming on the following day of making burritos. So like I said, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys on the next one. You look so beautiful, and I'm so lucky to be yours.